Okay, let's see who all's here. Let's see here. Bruce is our secretary. Yes. We're at the table there with the sign for the cookout. Gordon is the treasurer, taking care of our money. Steve running the Zoom, our tech guy. Sharon Bender, getting ready for the cookout. Dan Cook, just doing everything in general. Tom, getting us speakers. And Dick, back in the corner, I saw him, he's still doing logo wear. And Bob Whalen for fallen veterans, which we're really lucky this month because we don't have any fallen veterans this month. But Bob did ask for a couple of minutes, so go ahead, Bob.
Somebody filled it.
Who's next? No, I wanted to spend just a minute with a couple of minutes with you about the fallen veterans. And we're so fortunate that we don't have a fallen veteran to honor this time. And so what I want to do is take a couple minutes for you to think about your relatives and your friends who are veterans, who are alive, and those who have passed away. So I want you to close your eyes. I want you all to close your eyes, eliminate the distractions. I'm going to talk to you for just a few minutes. I want to recognize in my own family, there were 5 of us. We just went by number. Number 2 was U.S. Army, 1st Division, Big Red 1, 67 to 69. He's alive. He was in Vietnam in 1968 to 69. And I'm thankful that he's still alive. Think about brother number 4. He was silent service. He was nuclear submarines, USS Casimir Pulaski. He was in the Navy from 1974 till about 1982. And I think about those. I want you to think about who in your family, your friends, who are alive and those who passed away. And think about those because right now, this is our time when we honor fallen veterans here. I want to make sure that we all are thinking about those that we care about, those that we know during this same time. Think about some of those veterans that you haven't thought about for a while. And that's why we're here. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. And now we're to our speaker. I had a really long introduction for him, but he's a retired Chief Master Chief from the U.S. Air Force. His name is Charles Neal, born in Indiana. His military career started in 1979, and he served active duty with working on F-15s. And then he served over in Europe, setting up for their version of the SR-71 and maintaining those. In 93, after he got off of active duty, he joined the International Guard in Iowa. And while serving there, he was deployed several times, multiple times, to Southwest Asia. Operation Provide Comfort, Northern Watch twice, Southern Watch twice. And then in 2022, he transferred to the 162nd Fighter Wing here in Tucson. And while there, he deployed to Southwest Asia another time in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. His latest position was with the 214th Attack Group as the Chief Superintendent. So please help me welcome Charles Neal.
Hey, can everybody hear me? I just hate those things, so I'm gonna do my best to project. You got,
Some people hear through their hearing aids.
then we'll have to go back here and find it best.
You can stay right around.
No, we're gonna try. All right, how's everybody doing now? So a couple of adjustments. First of all, thank everyone for your service. I appreciate being in the room with a bunch of veterans. Abbreviated version for that, because you got one that I could only find, so I was also command chief, so I'm gonna go into a little bit of details. I was in the wing for about 6 years, so what happens is, the comparison with the other service, I'm gonna find out first, who's in the Navy? All right, Army, Marine Corps, and then Air Force. All right, lots of my brothers from the Air Force. So I was a wing command chief equivalent to a brigade level or a group level in the Navy. I did that for my last 5 years. It's not a typo, I did 41 years. I spent about a decade deployed out of my 41 years, which was quite challenging, raising a family. So I joined the Air Force in 1979, 2 days after high school. Everybody still hear me? I think that's close enough. So 2 days out of high school, I joined the basic training in the Air Force, and my recruiter guided me through, they'll go, by the way, when you're 17 years old to the recruiter, because I was going to be an air traffic controller, and I almost left being the telephone line repairman. Just as equal, I was a crew chief, so everything worked out, but don't go in as a 17-year-old to the recruiter. So my first base was Las Vegas, Nevada, 18 years old. Somebody's got to do it, might as well be me. 1979 to 1983 to F-15s, but I also had the privilege of meeting my wife. So she was also stationed there. It was one of those romances that you always hear about. Don't date anybody from tech school, don't date anybody for service, don't. Well, we've been now married 44 years, so I think it worked out. I left Las Vegas. I got orders to the SR-71 out of Beale Air Force Base in California. I went there and started training on the SR-71. They asked for volunteers to join the U-2 group, starting up over in England. I had to look up what a U-2 was, because it's pretty young at the time. I asked the wife, which no cell phones then, so I went home and said, hey, you want to go to England and work on the U-2s? She said, well, I'll follow you anywhere. So I worked the U-2 program, the Blackbird program for about 6.5 years, came back stateside, went to New Mexico for my last year Air Force wise. My challenge was raising a young family, being deployed all the time. I love the military, but I needed a way where I could go find one base and stay there for a long time. Hence the Air National Guard, which also allowed me to have a 41-year career. So we spent 10 years in Des Moines, Iowa, worked F-16s, deployed quite a bit on that particular program. The kids grew up, left. Iowa's a great place to raise a family. But you don't want to stay there afterwards if you're not from Iowa. No disrespect to Iowa, okay? She said, get me out of here. I said, where do you want to go? And since we met in the desert, she said, any place that's warm. So I found a position that would take me to 162nd here in Arizona. I had to pull off 2 stripes. And she was so hesitant against that. I said, baby, don't worry about it. The worst case scenario in the Guard is that you retire at your highest rank. So at that time, I was a Master Sergeant. Not a big deal. Go my 20, 30 years, be a Master Sergeant. Things kind of worked out, and I ended up making E9 chief there. And I think my most challenging time for that last decade or so was I was trying to pad the resume for years after the military. So I went to intelligence school because they elected me to be a group superintendent, and I required me to go to intelligence school for a year. This time I'm 52 years old and I'm going to school with 18-year-olds. Some of us had a good time. I'm going to say they didn't. So I went to intelligence, I ran the unmanned program, so we're flying the unmanned aircraft all over, by the way, that's the way to fight a war. Nobody gets hurt, our side, put them up, fly for 12, 16, 18 hours, do your damage and then come home. By the way, the whole time we're in Arizona doing this, so, pretty great career. I bought at the time was a 1-star, and he had asked me, Chief, what do you got left in the tank? And at any given day, I was like, there's nothing left. He said, well, I got something for you. Do you mind maybe applying for my command chief position? So when a 1-star asks you to apply for something, you got 2 ways to go. Yes or no? What did I say? Sir, yes, sir. I got selected. I was his command chief. We traveled kind of the world wherever we were deployed, my unit or anywhere else. Kind of a dog and pony show, kiss baby, shake hands. But way to end a career, didn't have to work for a living, but no regrets, 41 years. I couldn't do it today if we had to start all over of the way the military has gone in the direction they're going. I could have done 41 years, starting maybe even a decade ago. So I'm glad that my time frame was from the 70s through 2020. That's the abbreviated version. Typically, when I talk about my 41 years, I was telling Dennis Jonah King, thank you, that it takes 3 or 4 or 5 hours to talk about 41 years. So that was my abbreviated version. Got a few minutes to go to the DMV to get my travel ID. Anybody got any questions? I know it's, I love it. Sir.
Why couldn't you do it again?
My patience and the direction that the military is going in. So super challenge of, okay, we can't make a 7 o'clock roll call because we have problems going to sleep at night. I have 3 kids who have childcare, so I don't know what shift you're gonna be able to put me on, but I can only work 6 hours. We went from no tattoos to full sleeves, and this is just me-isms, but then we also have a big enough percentage of people changing who they are. I'll just keep it at, we were a boy and now we're a girl, or a girl, we're a boy. And then it's so challenging, and I don't judge anybody that's not from my military. And it was just super frustrating that Pareto rule, about 80% of my time was spent on only 20% of the people. Just frustrating. And you guys, I think, probably had the best times because you had a purpose, you had a mission, and you knew what to accomplish. It's gotten vague over my deployments and the conflicts that I've been in. Just couldn't do it. And knowing who I am now, my time is done, and I'm glad I served. Is that good? You kind of knew that, didn't you? Almost everybody in the room knew or had a feeling that that's the direction it's going. Sir.
Yeah, you're flying out of Arizona, but where's the craft taking off from?
I'll tell you everything you can Google. Jordan, Africa, and a couple other places over there. So I'll let you know, well, I'm being vague because some of it's still classified, but the coolest thing about it is the particular aircraft that we were flying, loaded with munitions, can fly for about 18 hours. So I've actually had 3 different air crews come in during a shift to take over, because it's travel time, it's about 150 knots to get where you're going, and it could be 6 hours to get to where you're going to loiter. Yep, sorry. Stand by one.
You're down there, Jim.
So yeah, the coolest thing about the conflict like that is our aircraft, 18 to 20 hours. We can protect ground sources, we can take care of bad guys, and we go home and we be with our families. I was a little stressed out because I had a lot of young kids working for me, and we'd make strikes. Bad people went away and it's supposed to be emotional. They were raised on video games. They were like, it was nothing to them. I mean, we never had to take a moment. It was just kill. And it was, you go home and you do what you have to do. So I guess that would be the one advantage of current, at least what I was doing, conflicts. And in the Air Force, you load up an airplane, crap load of bombs, they go kill a bunch of people and come home. You don't do a lot. So thank you for the Air Force. Sir.
You only have radar, we have visual too.
On the aircraft, we have, they can't see us.
Can you repeat the question? Well, me, you want me to repeat?
Yes, please.
On the aircraft, do you have only radar or we have visual also?
So we have one camera that we can see, and the other one are sensors. So you look actually through a sensor. So I give you that, we're at 25,000 feet, it's 7 miles in the distance, and we can see someone tying their shoes when he looks up. So it's like the old school satellites times 10. And it's night, it's thermal, it's a really good, and then we have some weapons where we're really concerned about taking out friendlies or in somebody that we're not supposed to kill. So we have an AGM missile right now that has no explosives in it, but when it takes off from the aircraft, spikes come out of it, big knives, and they'll go through the front windshield of a Toyota pickup and kill the passenger and don't hurt anybody else. That's legit. By the way, we're way far away. That's some of the stuff that's unclassed. Really, it's a cool, and I like being a part of that. I had to handle discipline and young troops. That took the fun away. I shouldn't say killing people is fun. I'm saying is the technology we had was awesome. We spent 6 weeks looking for a captured Australian nurse. So we loitered for 20 hours a day because we had no munitions over villages looking for her. And that's awful tiring, just sitting and watching the screen for your entire shift.
Did you find her?
No, we did not. It's finally Pentagon, because before we made any strike, we got lawyers in DC looking at our feed, our computer feed, and it's like, yeah, no, yeah, or you can go ahead and prosecute, kill, whatever you gotta do. So many layers of people watching over us. Make sure we do everything, and there's a purpose for that. But yeah, so answering your question, I couldn't do it today. Sir?
Yeah, I was an air traffic controller in the Air Force, so, can I,
Did I miss something?
how high can that unmanned airplane go? And how does air traffic control handle with those unmanned aircraft if they've got, munitions on?
It would be the same thing when we take off with a fighter aircraft with munitions on it as far as air traffic control. So how high they can go? There's versions of this particular airplane, RQ-4, which can fly at 65,000 feet. Our particular aircraft, because that's all straight reconnaissance, so it can fly for 32 hours-ish at that altitude. Ours was armed, so it flies at 25 to 30,000. We go 30,000 to avoid weather. But the communication-wise, is our pilot's in the seat, and he's talking to the tower. So he's talking to a tower that's on the other side of the planet. It said, clear for takeoff. And so he takes his sensor ball, looks straight up, so he's looking out of the cockpit of the airplane that's 4,000 miles away. It takes off. He's controlled from ground, the air traffic controller, to where he gets out of the AOR to where he's going. Constant contact. So nothing's different as far as the airplanes. The pilot's still talking to him.
So they have to file a flight plan for every time they go up?
They go file a flight plan leaving the base. The rest is classified. All they know is when we're within 20 miles, we're coming back and call us into the patterns, because we're competing with all the other military aircraft and or civilians in order.
So when I was in there was always a B-52 over Omaha, Nebraska, through a flight plan, a box pattern. The 24 hours of time, he was supposed to be a president in the sky. And does that still happen, you know?
A B-52 does not stay in the air 24 hours a day out of office. I can tell you that. Yeah, that was vague. That was vague. We've got other things that we use right now. That's it. No, Tom. Does Tom make everyone say your Imperial Majesty when you talk to him? You volunteered at the VA and Perseverance. I was honored to speak today until I found out he was going up and down the hallways at VA hospital asking the cleaners, cooking for the day, can you speak? So I went from, this is pretty awesome, to, oh, we're gonna go to the bottom of the barrel and get this guy one. So thank God for Tom.
Do SR-71 still fly today?
There was one NASA aircraft that we're struggling to keep airborne. But that's it. No more military. They're all in pedestals or in museums somewhere. And that's testing other things. And it's hard to keep it airborne.
How far are we away from no pilots in?
We already have. You're talking about every day.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about fighting what's always been. It's the pilots who think they should pilot from inside the aircraft. So the limitation on a fighter is about 8 to 9 Gs because of human body. If we get rid of that guy or gal in the cockpit, now we're gonna have airframe do 15 Gs. So, and by the way, we don't waste weight with a canopy and the ejection seat and the oxygen system and all, so there's so many pluses, it's just, you know, hierarchy of living the last 100 years with pilots. No disrespect to pilots, sir, your time I got brief. You guys have a purpose. Sorry. Last one.
Is there a different, as an Air Force pilot, inside the cockpit or flying a drone like you are, is there a different way to go on those approaches?
Everything's the same for them, as far as they have no feel of the aircraft, but their instrumentation and what they can see. And then the next to him is usually an enlisted troop, a sensor operator. So he'll move the camera for the pilot, because he's talking to 15, 20 people on the ground, he's talking to special forces, he's talking to air traffic control. And we're stacked, we're at 25,000, we got fighters at 30,000, we got bombers at 35,000, so the whole AOR, area responsibility, is full of aircraft. And they're all stacked, and then whenever we're on the mission, and then we got helicopters way down low. So the pilot's sake is, it takes them about 6 months to a year to get comfortable enough to fly it, because when you bank, even though it's satellite, it's quick, it's still 2 to 3 seconds. So the challenge with unmanned aircraft is that we actually have to have a pilot and a sensor in the country where the airplane's at to take off. Because that 3 seconds is too long for an input on the stick, you crash. So you need someone right there that when he moves the stick, he or she moves the stick, it does moves now. So that's the biggest challenge as far as our unmanned right now, is we have to still have a crew in the air. All he does or she is take off, climb up, hand it over via satellite to our guys and gals stateside, and they start flying the aircraft. Same thing coming back, they contact them, those pilots in, say, Jordan, are contacted, aircraft's back 20 minutes, they grab it, there's a handover, they bring it in and land it. It's a pretty cool war machine. And reasonable as far as costs. All right, thank you, everyone, I appreciate it. Let's do it right. Let's do the whole thing over again. Come on. I gotta practice on that. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate your time. Have a great day. You're not forgiven, Tom.
After that exciting time, we'll move on to the treasurer's report.
Good morning, everybody. I flew myself from here to here. Unmanned with this vessel. And I use vessel because maybe. In remembrance what Bob Wetland said, my brother, Jerry, in 68 was drafted Fort Ord, and in basic training got hurt and sent home. But he's buried at the cemetery here now, so I thought for him. Okay, the report ending in February 29th. We started with a balance of $4,330.84. I made a deposit on the 7th of $1,105. $1,000 was from Roger Daggett. So thank you, Roger. And 105 was from canned donations. On the 19th, we had a $48.06 deposit from PayPal, which I think rounded down from $50 for rusted spurs. On the 20th, I made a deposit of $422 from Dick 2, which was from uniform, shirts, logos, all those kind of things. And those were from checks that he collected massed them together and I made a single deposit. In line with that, I paid Dick $412, so somewhere $10, I guess, came out of Dick's pocket for a donation to us. Thank you, Dick. And on the 24th, we made a $500 deposit from Tim, Kay, Walter for our barbecue coming up, cookout slash. And $30 was from Steve Merritt for the device that makes the logos. I'm not sure what you call it, but the something, but when you go in to buy the shirt now, it's there, we paid for it, thanks to Steve. So you can get a sunflower shirt, and by the way, it's in the Safeway Shopping Center. You can go in there, either buy their shirt or bring your own shirt, they'll take care of a shirt for you. Or whatever it goes. That left us with a closing balance of $6,023.90. This morning, Roger died at another $1,000. I'm saying that without the realtors, the impact of our ability to donate would be severely impacted. Questions? Thank you.
Oh, sure.
Sir.
What did you just say about the logos at Safeway?
Next to it, there's an embroidery.
Actually, it's over by center where he is.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So it's behind the Bisbee Breakfast Club. Behind the Bisbee Breakfast Club.
Website.
Oh.
Behind the Bisbee Breakfast Club.
I know. What's Safeway got to do with it?
Nothing, my mistake.
Okay, moving on. We're still collecting gently used winter clothing for the homeless vets. That's still in the box out here in the center next to Patriots Pantry box by the back doors. And after the meeting, Bruce and Sharon are gonna be selling tickets for the cookout. So just go ahead and get those as soon as you can. They're also for sale on the website. You go to the website, there's a link on the first page for the Veterans Club that will take you to where the tickets are sold. So you can buy tickets online. Go ahead.
On the homeless vets, how do the clothes get to them?
They get taken down to the VA. The same as the Patriots Pantry food, it gets taken down to the VA. And then from there, I'm not sure. Dan takes the clothes down, so you know what
Yeah,
happens
just
to them.
the clothes are distributed through the homeless program. That's possible. The homeless vets come in there for services. They get showers, chance to be cleaned up, counseling and clothes. This community has really been helpful for the homeless community at the Veterans Center. You need to be very thankful for yourselves. Got a lot of men and women warm. Thank you.
Yeah, that box out there has been filled up many times, so thank you for that. Yes,
What day is the cookout?
the cookout is April 6th. A lot of things happening on April 6th. So, also, let's see, what's next? Sharon, do you need any more volunteers for the cookout?
I have a sign-up sheet there, but
Okay.
I'm getting to put them out.
Okay.
Out to,
So if you want to volunteer, please sign up. Next thing is new business.
Larry, I have one other thing.
Okay.
This is a matter of knowledge. Mark who supplied us our donuts every month, donated $1,000 to us. And the club is going to be taking down from that 1,000 every month to pay for the donuts. So it's still from Mark, we want to thank him, but it's on a drawdown basis, not $1,000.
Thank Dennis for bringing them out too.
Yeah, Dennis, the donut guy, he's ordering them, he's picking them up, he's taking care of all that for us, thank you.
Is this a no cost?
Yeah. It just cost us a few donuts, that's all.
I only had half a dozen in the car.
Okay, next, you'll come up, David. Me, yes. I have a check for you as well.
Oh, thank you.
For DAV, $1,000.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
I don't know if you guys know this. But, we help the disability, the widow, but we also help the veteran that needs help. Like, last week, we had a guy come in and said, I can't pay my light bill, can you pay it for me? So we paid it for him. People coming, like, say, from LA going to El Paso, they run out of gas, don't have money, we'll take them to the gas station and fill up their car. We don't give them cash. Cash is out of the question. Also, we only help once. Because if you help twice, you're gonna have a long, long line each morning. So thank you, this will be put into good use. Thank you very much.
Okay, next up is, the board got to talking about what are we going to do with the slowdown in the real estate market? Because we got some more good donations this morning from the realtors. Market's going a little slower now than it has in the past. So what we were looking at was changing the structure of our dues. So that rather than just put a dollar in when you come to the meetings, we're looking at going to annual dues or an annual dues with a lifetime option. And so one of the things, what we had discussed was going to $25 a year for annual dues and $175 for life. So that's just a recommendation, and we're looking for input from all of you as to what we should do. Go ahead.
I'm a little confused, we never had dues before, this has all been volunteer.
Right, it's all, well, it's, yeah, the way was structured was, when you come to a meeting, you put $1. That's the way it's always been. Your dues were you pay $1 when you come to a meeting. That's why there's two cans up there. There's one for dues and there's one for donations. So what we were proposing, because we want to keep doing what we're doing, even if the realtors, the real estate market slows down, we want to be able to keep doing the donations we're doing, keep making difference. And so that's why we were looking at doing this. Now there's the one thing that did come up, there's no way that we would tell a veteran that you can't be here because you can't afford the dues. We would never do that. So it would still be kind of voluntary in joining. So looks like it is right now. We have a lot of veterans out here that aren't members of our club, have never even signed up with our club. And yet, you know, when they pass away, we honor them. And so we still do things to the veterans in this community. And so this was just one way to help fill in the gaps when the realtors aren't donating us $1,000 a month. We can still continue to donate like we did this month. We donated 1,000 to DAV, we donated 1,000 to Patriots Pantry. And to see what we do donate, one thing we did was out in the lobby above the Patriots Pantry basket, there's a letter holder out there that has the letters that we get from the VA, thanking us for what we donate. And so I wanted to put that out there so that the community can see we are donating this money and, you can see that people are thanking us for that. So if there's an issue with paying dues, please let somebody on the board know and we'll take care of it. That wouldn't be a problem, but we're still discussing this. Nothing has been decided yet. So that's what we're doing though, is because this is such a major thing, we wanted to ask for input. Yes.
The elephant in the room was, I was personally disappointed to find out that 10 or 15 or 20 years ago, Pat Brownson was the treasurer. He counted the people in the room, and he counted the number of people that have donated $1. And if there was $1 or two short, he would go chasing $1. I find out now we're getting coffee and donuts. And a large number of people in the room are not putting in $1, which is very disappointing. If you can't afford $25 a year to be a member of this club and get free coffee and donuts in the whole year, to support our charities, I feel sorry.
But we will honor anyone, even if you can't afford it, we would allow you to still be a member. You just need to bring it to somebody on the board's attention. Yes, Bruce.
This is so hard spelled for us. For feedback on this is so important to us. We couldn't just make this decision on our own.
Yeah, Bruce.
This is so hard to build for us that we realized we couldn't make this decision on our own. That we had to come to the general membership and get your feedback, in a way, kind of your permission and or path forward with this. Because it was that detrimental to us, it was that important to us, that we be in the loop, we just lay this on. But just a kind of like little nudge, cup of coffee and a donut these days costs $5, let's face it, and you're getting it for free every month here, so do the multiplication on that, and what's 25 here, really, to support this club, and a good word to too, thank you.
Thank you, Bruce.
We also, this club also supports the board for the fallen members in the community, and the board buys those name tags, and they've supplied the boards, and I think we have a different person doing the engraving now, and it is costing us more.
Anybody else?
I would just like to make a motion that we go ahead and institute the $25 membership. Okay.
Yearly, like every January, what do you, how do you do it?
Yes, every January, it would be every January, we would do that.
January, I know 20.
And you could get a lifetime membership for $175. And we even talked about anybody with a lifetime membership, you get a little gold star on your name tag, so we know you're a lifetime member. See, you get something special.
Larry, I'm gonna second that motion.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay, it passes, so that's what we'll start doing next month. I will get the information out to everybody. We're gonna prorate this year? We will prorate this year. So that'll be easy for everybody. We'll just prorate it, make it one fee. If you pay it this month, we'll prorate it.
So you don't get a half cup of coffee and a half cup.
Yeah.
We could all afford $25 a year, you don't really need program.
That's up to you guys. If the board, everybody wants to prorate it, we can. If you don't, we can just pay the $25. And what we can do as well, we'll prorate it for those who want to prorate it. Want to pay the $25, pay the $25. That's the simplest way to do it. So, go ahead.
Got that figured out, Gordon?
So if we pay the $25 a year, I think that you're gonna do away with the can up there then.
We'll have a donation can, but we won't have the,
Will it say donation can only?
like the blue can, oh, the white can says donations.
I want the other can.
The other can go away. We don't need.
Thank you.
Anything else? I'll take it. Okay,
Who's gonna collect it?
that'll be, yeah, it'll be collected by, it can be collected by Gordon. That's the primary place, so that's the best. If you can bring it at the next meeting, that would be wonderful. You can check your name off. Just bring a check or cash, or we'll take either one.
Do it online.
Not yet, but there will be set up online probably by the end of the week. I'll get that done. Now that I know what we're doing, I'll get that done.
Online, though, we lose money.
We could use Venmo, we could use, there's a couple different peer-to-peer payments that we could use. That's one thing that we've been kind of looking at. The problem with those is it goes from one bank account to the other bank account, so just so you know.
Oh, it's
Once you-
just give it cash.
Yeah, just so you know, if we go to one of those systems, that once you make a payment, there's no getting it back. It's not like PayPal where we can refund it. It's gone. So we're looking at that. There's a Zelle and there's Venmo, there's a couple different ones of those. So we're gonna look at doing that as well. Also, that would allow us to take other donations and not have $1.50 or whatever they take out for their charges. Okay. That went easier than I thought. And thank you.
Well,
Yes,
can you pay with credit card?
online, once I get it set up online, yes, you will be able to. We don't have any kind of, yeah, we don't have any wait fee. Now, what found that's something we need to look into. One of the little white square or whatever it is for taking donations.
Yeah. Curious.
Yeah, okay. That way we can take credit cards here too. Okay. Next up is under new business is, I don't have anything else under new business, that's it. But I would like to welcome any new people here? Are returning? Here. I think you might have there's.
So, yeah, I'm going to do it to some degree. We've been property owners here for about 9 years. We've had to sell into snow. Due to some medical issues, we had to sell. In the last couple of years, we have been lucky enough to find a place to rent. And it's, I feel privileged to be able with this group. I was a long-term member, life member of many military organizations. Now, I'm just wondering what we've just passed. Well, I have no problem with paying the dues here. We got to make sure the people like me, snowbirds, welcome, know the issues. I tell the truth, I never knew we had two cans. I knew when I always put a buck in one, but I really didn't know that the other dollar was going to be. I just did not. That may be one of your issues on it, but folks didn't really, at least I didn't understand it. I've been around here for about 9, 10 years. Thank you.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about that.
Check is in the mail.
Anyone else? Go ahead.
My name is Robert Silvani. I live in St. Paul, Minnesota. And I love to come here. You know, it is absolutely great to be with this group, but it's also great to not have to put up with the cold, the winter, the slush, the snow, and the grayness. Thank you all.
Yeah, but I didn't have that picture. I'd like to explain something a little bit more thoroughly. Larry, we had the difficulty when we order shirts. 3 people have come up to me since we just recently sold shirts, saying they wanted an item. Larry located this place on Ina, and that way, if you want a shirt, you don't have to wait months until we decide we have enough people to get stuff from our present supplier. And because Bruce and others did a better job of publicizing, we had a fairly decent turnout the last time we ordered to general people that live here, not just necessarily veterans. So I think we're going to continue on a maybe 2 or 3 times a year basis ordering. But it's very convenient to be able to get on there and get a shirt whenever you want. That's a good idea that you have, Larry.
Actually, it was a good idea that the Marana Veterans Club had, because they're the ones who brought this to me, that's where they get their shirts done. And so we're gonna get that all set up, and I'll let everybody know when that's set up and give you the name of the organization, the company that does it. And they do this full time, so that's their business. Also, in welcoming new attendees, we have 2 new honorary members. One couldn't be here, Kay Walter, Tim's wife. She's working, so she couldn't be here. So the other one is Danny Lindy, and she asked to become a member because she has lost all the veterans in her family. She wants to stay connected to veterans. So, now for the good of the cause. Anybody got it? Go ahead.
Yeah. One of the things that, thank you. One of the things I did not mention during the Fall of Veterans was a friend of mine who's still alive. We double dated in college. He was ROTC, and then he was 82nd Airborne paratroopers, and he was in Vietnam, 64 to 66. He was injured 11 times, Agent Orange, diabetes. He's in a nursing home in Minnesota, and he's also an author. And the book that Dan has written, has read, and I gave it to Jim Smith also to read, is an extraordinary power of kindness. It's a bunch of stories that Bill has written about things that have occurred in his life that have turned out very, very well. And I'd like to give you his, Bill is a good buddy of mine, obviously. His email is, or his website is Bill Schiebler, and Schiebler is spelled SCHIEBLER.com. BillSchiebler.com. And if you go to that site, you learn more about what Bill was involved in Vietnam. He's lucky to be alive. And also some of the extraordinary power of kindness experiences that he has had. I would, if you like to read, these stories are amazing stories, and I would just refer you to that if you like to read. BillSchiebler.com.
You'll give me that information, Bob. I'll put it on the website as well. Okay, and then the last thing for the good of the sod. Oh, go ahead, Bruce.
So I can't hold the microphone, so this man with left arm is paralyzed, but so I'll hold this up. It's a folder prepared by Joe Shambo for us. I want to thank Joe for that. And that's all information, useful information on filing a claim, on PAC acts, on, you have a list of secondaries. That's like if you're already getting compensation, For instance, I get PTSD, secondary is IBS, I can not link secondary also. So it has listed that and has listed all sorts of useful information regarding filing claims, and he's given that to the club. And we'll keep that in our storage room, so if anybody needs that or needs any information from that, or take a look at it, just contact one of us on the board and we'll arrange that for you. Thank you.
Anything else? Right across the floor, Steve. Doctor said I needed more vacancy.
I've been volunteering down VA for about a year, and I just found out yesterday. There is a small office down there that is devoted to doing nothing except helping veterans who have signed up for benefits, but having trouble getting their computer access working right. So if any of you are in that category, or if you know someone that is, you just go down to the VA center, give me a call, or Tom and we'll help you out. We're gonna help you out. We'll get you down there. They will help you get your computer access up and running. Make sure that you get all the benefits to which you're entitled.
Anything else? Okay, I got another thing as well, because we got a letter, if you read the director's report from the hospital, read her report online. It's online on the front page every month. We get her report. If you read through that, they are looking for volunteers. You go on on our website, on the very first page, it has a whole listing for that. So they're looking for people to do just about any kind of job that's imaginable to them. And so they're looking for volunteers. And so if you have any time that you want to volunteer, please step up and volunteer for them. I think that's all, unless something, oh, go ahead, Tom.
I just want to talk about the volunteering part. Dan can also discuss this with you. There's nothing more enjoyable than volunteering at the VA. I mean, they treat you like a king down there. And it's a lot of fun. You get associated with a lot of good people, veterans like Charles this morning. And you don't have to do what we do. They, like you just said, you can sit at a desk, you can be a concierge. There's so many jobs you can do at the VA. So get off the couch, get out of your recliner, and come down and volunteer and help out.
Thank you, Don. Okay, one other thing that I would like to bring up, I know Joe was a service officer. If there is anyone in here that would like to do that as well, that would be wonderful for the club, to have another service officer here. So just think about that. That's another way you could volunteer to help people. And with that, if there's nothing else, go ahead, David.
I'd like to say, if any of you need any help with your disability, we have 16 certified service officers. At DAV, you can file your claim and you can go 2 doors down to get your shirt. But in our reality, DAV is the only organization, to become a service officer, you have to go to school. I'll give you a real good example of this. There's 2 types of sailors. They're called, now I'm talking about Vietnam, the brown water sailors and the blue water sailors. The only ones that could apply for Agent Orange was the brown water sailors, and they were the ones on the PT boats and what have you. Not until January 1, 2020, could the blue water sailors apply for their disability. Well, just imagine when they sprayed the Agent Orange, it will go out 200 miles. I'll give you a real good example of this. We were on a mission. We went way out there in the middle of nowhere. The pilot said, gonna be shut down for now, so do whatever you want. I would always go to the mess hall and get a cup of coffee. I was looking at a 123, C-123 spray. After about 2 to 3 minutes, I went to take a drink of my cup, and there was an oil film on it. That oil film was Agent Orange. And I mean, the plane must have been about 5 miles away. So the aircraft carriers were 12 miles away. So they were like being in country, and a lot of them have died of cancer. And if anybody knows of somebody that died of cancer, their wife can apply for their disability. So we have highly trained service officers, and please go see us, okay? That's what we're there for. We don't have a bar, we don't have a restaurant. When somebody comes in, we do the paperwork for them at no charge. I can't count the number of veterans that come in and said, well, I have to pay $800 for this. I said, we'll do it for free. So if you need any help, we're right behind the breakfast, the Bisbee Breakfast Cafe, okay? Thank you so much.
Anything else?
Just want to remind everyone, stop over here for your,
Signed up.
Okay, and if you want to sign up, we got the sheet over here for signing up for the cookout. Karen and Bruce are gonna get set up to sell tickets. So if nothing else, the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.